Hi, Joel.
Hi, Dominique. It's great to be here with you again. So excited to have a nice, great conversation about prosperity and frequency.
Me too. I think that it comes for me personally at a really good time because it's such a reminder to understand your emotions and how you feel and how that projects out into your world, what you bring back into your world. And we were having a little conversation before this, talking about how important it is to understand, well, first of all, how important it is in general to understand ourselves. But then the piece that's really attached to that for me is that the support we have culturally and maybe socially isn't around that necessarily. It's more around results, the way things are. All of those words and languaging have so much to do with blocking, if you will, our blessings, right? Or what it is that we're capable of accessing. So I'm
Absolutely.
interested in having that conversation with you because I know that's something that you pay attention to.
Absolutely. No, one of my mentors says feelings first, manifestation second. And for those of you who don't know the word manifestation, it's just having a thought become a thing, right? You think of something and then you create it. So feelings first, if you're feeling lack and scarcity and worried and fear and those kinds of feelings, then that's, law of attraction. That's what you're attracting into your life. So it's important to understand what you're feeling and what that vibration and frequency is, because those are low level vibrations or low level frequencies. It's not the same frequency that is consistent with prosperity and abundance. So if you're worried and scared all the time, it's hard, right? I know a lot of people who are watching are struggling with money. Maybe they lost their job, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So in the physical reality, looking at what's in the reality, you're seeing this lack. And so it could be difficult to think about abundance and prosperity when you see the physical reality of lack and scarcity. And then you're like, okay, I want it quick, right? So the problem is you're putting out there what you don't want. And I know it's difficult. So you have to put in place some practices, some baby steps to move up the vibration and the frequency in your life.
Let's talk about that because I believe the first law of the universe is vibration and frequency.
Absolutely.
Manifestation and the law of attraction is down to be underneath that. So
Absolutely.
so it's very counterintuitive for us humans to think, okay, I got to get in the right frequency first before I can attract that frequency. Because if you're not there, you're not there. And
Right.
and it's going to be a challenge to like move up. So why don't we talk about like, I mean, maybe we can get super practical on ways that we could have that conversation around. All right, if I'm down and I'm not even, maybe not even depressed, but if I'm feeling defeated or I'm feeling like it's not going to happen, or those things that we all feel at certain times, and we want to get into, I'm in my purpose, I'm completely aligned with everything that is coming for me. How do we move?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And, I have my second book sitting here, The Nine Money Rules Millionaires Use, right? So it's using the processes in that book, and it's not complicated, right? One of them, you've heard it for generations, fake it until you make it, right? So it's saying words to yourself or out loud. I actually talk about affirmations, which I know some of you may say, oh, this woo woo spiritual BS stuff, but affirmations have been scientifically proven to work now. Athletes are using affirmations. There are Navy SEALs who use positive self talk. So it does work. It's been proven to work. So fake it until you make it. Say words that are You may not completely believe exactly yet, but say them over and over again. I am prosperous. I am prosperity. I am confident. Money is flowing easily and frequently. You know, lucrative opportunities always come my way. I'm on my way to financial freedom. All these affirmations will help you over and over again. Don't just say them once and say them out loud with emotion. Don't say them, to yourself silent, but say them out loud like, I am a money magnet, right? I am a money magnet. That's powerful. So affirmations, so there are specific things you can do from the 9 money rules. One is affirmations. 2 is visualize. Sit down and close your eyes for 5 minutes a day and think of what you want your life to be. I know when you were growing up, you were taught not to daydream in class. You were thinking about something else. The teacher called on you, and you're out to space. Well, start again. It's probably the most powerful things you did when you were in elementary school, right? So close your eyes for 5 minutes and daydream on purpose. Think about what you want to have in your life, and if like I do it every day, but if once in a while, a couple of minutes go by and I got the monkey mind going on and I'm thinking about my day, just stop and go say, I'll do it tomorrow.
Let's talk about that for a second, because
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that we do is we beat ourselves up. So maybe we're starting a new practice, or maybe we're revisiting an old practice. Maybe we realize, like, when we were kids, we could make stuff happen. We could make, we used to lay on the ground and look up at the sky and make clouds move, and we had some experiences with supernatural things happening. We had belief in miracles. We didn't know it because it was just the way life was, because nothing was in our way. We didn't have a lot of resistance or barricades built up over years of disappointments or things not going the way you want them to go. And so people might, tell themselves, well, that's never going to happen to me. That only happens to people like you. So for me, like, one of the tricks is to really connect in that this is really your God-given right, that this is really your birthright to manifest the life that you want.
We were brought here to thrive, not survive. And yet, my parents and most parents and, people who were, in your life when you were a child, they were doing the best they can with what they knew. And, I will tell you, when my kids were growing up 10 years ago, I didn't know all this stuff. I'm learning still. And so they might have heard some things out of my mouth or saw some actions that weren't helpful for them. And the same thing happened with me growing up. My dad used to scream at me for leaving the light on in my room. Joel, you're not a shareholder of Long Island Lighting Company, shut that light off, kind of thing. So it's this scarcity and lack mindset. But that's, like you said, it's your birthright. You came here to thrive, right? So let's talk more specifically about visualization. So there's 6 steps I highly recommend to do. 1 is to pick a time. 2 is to pick a place. So don't do it in bed right after you get up. You may fall back to sleep, and don't do it right before you're going to sleep in bed. You may fall asleep. So do it on, in your kitchen, in your living room. 3, pick the amount of time you're going to do it, 3 to 5 minutes, no more. 4, pick 3 dreams and desires specifically before you start. Write them down so you have something to think about, specifically your dream car, dream house, dream vacation, dream job, dream spouse, whatever it is. Step 5 is, I think, the most important. We've already talked about it. Make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That's from Wayne Dyer's book, Wishes Fulfilled, right? So feeling first. Make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So when you have your eyes shut and it may be difficult, but try to feel the feeling of that you're on the island of Maldives, right? You're in that cabin over the water, and you're looking out and you're seeing the turquoise waters, and you're so grateful and so happy that your dream came true. And you got the pool right in front of you and the jacuzzi to the right, and you're with your spouse or your partner, and you're so grateful, right? So feeling the feeling. And then step 6 is if you could actually see yourself in the picture. I have a hard time with this, but if you could actually like be looking down, having an out of body experience, looking down and seeing you in the pool or in the turquoise waters, that's great. And then the bonus is if you could actually go beyond the dream, go beyond the desire, go beyond the wish fulfilled. So if maybe your dream is to have that dream house, go beyond it. Now it's already happened. You're now in the house. You're celebrating with 250 of your closest friends, and they're calling you to speak in front of them because they're all there for you. And you've achieved, and they've helped you, and you've helped them. And now you're at the mic, right? In the middle of your expansive living room where 250 people can fit, right? You're in your mansion and you're giving the speech, thanking them for being there, so that's, you're beyond the dream, right? And that's like that, you can do that too in your visualization. You're beyond it. You've already had your dream car, and you're driving up 95 here in the Northeast at 100 miles an hour. Don't tell the police. And your hair, you got more hair than I do, and the hair's blowing in the wind, and you're like, yes, it's happened. So thinking beyond the dream.
Well, and I also think that everybody has it their way of integrating. Some people are verbal, some people are visual, some people are auditory. Find your way in to your emotions. I'm
Yeah.
super visual. So for me, I keep my what is my business plan, which is about 10 or 11 points that I'm working on this year. And all day it's there for me. I'm really into color and certain things that just like trigger me. And so it's not just the auditory affirmations, it's the visual that's playing off of me as well, and total immersion. So I'm in my office right now, and I have a map of my current business up. So I have a map of my team, I have a map of my clients, I have my pipeline, stuff that's in the works right now, stuff that's coming. And every day I'm touching in energetically with every single one of those people. And it's funny, I'll get a phone call, I'll get a text, I'll get an email. Something will happen where that energetic manifestation is going out there because I'm continually immersed in everything I'm doing, and I'm bringing the future closer to me every day.
Right. So visualizing, right? So vision boards is another way to do it. Like I talked about this on Instagram today. Joel Prosperity Solomon is my Instagram. And I talked about this today about, putting a vision board together. That's what you're talking about, Dominique. So like I have 3 in my bedroom. I also have my screensaver. So whenever I'm not working, I'm doing something, writing some notes or something, my screensaver comes up of things that, places I want to go, affirmations. I even have a picture of a microphone, as if I'm giving a speech in front of a large audience, right? I'm single, so I have a picture of a couple on a beach holding hands, right? So just like things I want to come into my life,
Yep.
that works. It works really well.
And also too, I think like for myself, I can't stress enough to myself that getting myself into the proper feeling before coming on here. It's like I don't want to come on here and have any kind of down energy. I want to be in a place of giving. I want to be in a place of delivery and being able to help people. Those are my intentions. So I'm thinking about that as I'm coming on to the Zoom, and I'm thinking about our interaction and playing tennis and being successful at touching someone. So
Absolutely.
those kinds of intentions.
Yeah, intentions, having an intention before you get on a call with a client, before you have a call with, if you're an entrepreneur, with, your customer, before you get on a Zoom call, before you're meeting somebody, is really important. I was just on a call, and before it was five of us, and the woman who organized the call said, would you guys like to just do like a little intention for 2 minutes? And it was basically like saying what, in our mind, what we wanted to have happen during the next hour. Right. And so in our mind, so it was kind of a meditation, and I'm all for, a meditation to clear your mind, put everything aside that happened for the whole day up to that point, and get centered and focused, and just have your mind and body in one place for the next hour, and not be on your phone, and not be doing this or doing that, but being focused here. And I think most people have a hard time with that. So doing that before a call, before you jump on with a meeting, set an intention. Set an intention. Abraham Hicks calls it segment intending.
Mhm.
So you can actually, think about what you want the end result to be. It's not in the material world, though, necessarily. I've taught my clients segment intending, and it's not, I want the sale. It's the feeling you want to have at the end of the conversation. I
Right.
want to feel happy. I want to feel grateful. I want to feel appreciative. I want to feel
Abundant,
kind and
pros-
passionate. Yeah,
prosperous,
right.
giving.
All that.
Yeah.
So that's what you want, because ultimately you may think the sale will create the happiness, but why not just go for the happiness? Why not just go for the joy? Go for the abundance and prosperity feeling. And that's what you want in the segment intending. So do that. And so you can do that before any interaction. You hear the phone ring, and it's your former wife or former husband, and in the past it hasn't been the best conversation. Segment intent, say, okay, I'm going to feel happy when I get off this call. I'm going to feel grateful. I don't know why, but I'm going to feel happy and grateful. And you get on the call, and call goes fine.
Well,
So
I
segment
think
intending.
something that you said there is really important. So being really straight to the intention and not splitting it. Like you said there, you said, I don't know why, that'll take you off. Being really clear that is a possibility, that is what's going to happen, is really a huge part of this, because we all get off on these little tangents, and then what happens is you have to wind back around, so it's going to take you longer to get back to the intention. I'm not
Absolutely.
saying it's easy in any way. Is it easy when you're not in that space? But it gets easier as you practice it. And the you know the front loading of this, maybe you start off and you're like really excited to get this new way of being integrated, and maybe the first day you are stacking it, and you're feeling something, and then you kind of like back off a little bit because you felt something. The problem with that is that you have to actually consistently add to the bank, so to speak, of these emotions, so that you have new emotions replacing the old emotions, and literally starting to feel more like yourself all the time.
Absolutely. No, I mentioned my dad, he was the world champion worrier. So I learned from the best. I say worry is negative future planning. Worry is negative future planning. You're thinking about what you don't want to happen. So why not
Right.
think about what you do? And it just happened with my daughter. She's taken a test, and she told me, I'm feeling very anxious and nervous. So why is she feeling anxious and nervous? She's thinking about what she doesn't want to happen. Right. And I will tell you, I just went to Kauai to do my TEDx talk, and I've public speaking was my biggest fear 6 years ago. You
Mm.
asked me to speak on a stage, I would have said, shoot me, anything else, but get me on a stage, please don't. But I joined Toastmasters. I've given a lot of speeches. I've become a lot better, and decided to challenge myself to do this TEDx talk. And having said that, I was still nervous and a bit worried that I wasn't going to do my best. But my idea is, okay, I want to help as many people as possible. Let's just get us out there and you can do it. And I will tell you, walking on the stage, I felt much more confident than I would have expected because I do these practices.
Yeah.
And I've been visualizing this, stepping on the stage for the last 6 months and thinking about how I'm going to feel and breathing in doing the breathing techniques. And I actually did a minute meditation on stage before I actually started speaking.
I think that when we give ourselves permission to feel good, and when we give ourselves permission to do whatever it takes to feel good, that is a huge, that's getting to the other side of something really big for most of us, because we're not coached on how to calm down. When you hear the word that, most of us have heard relax when we're in the least relaxed place, right? Like if you're really, really wound up and upset and someone tells you to relax, can you relax? No.
Right.
It's very, very challenging. So being able to to coach yourself through a state of relaxation or a state of happiness or a state of whatever excitement, whatever that state you want to get to be able to do that for yourself is a big deal.
Yes, absolutely. And look, as I said, I learned from the best worrier. So I still have challenges to deal with worrying. And most people will tell me or know me as a very positive person, but there are times where I'm worried. And so I'm, having to deal with that. And so segment intending, as we mentioned earlier, can be very powerful. Before you get into the situation, before you're actually there, take a couple of minutes and just ground yourself and think about what you want to happen and what you want the end result to be, how you want to feel, what vibration you want, what frequency you want at the end of the event. And that is a powerful technique.
I love what Abraham Hicks says through Esther, talking about the fact that the universe is actually always working in your favor.
Yeah.
Always. There's no, oh, today you're not going to have favor. The problem is that when we're trying to manifest something and it doesn't manifest, we're not ready to receive it.
Right.
And so clearing that path to receiving has everything to do with, first of all, believing that you deserve it. And then secondly, that you intend it and you let it go and you let it come. Now, this is very challenging because we are a culture of doers and we are a humanity of beings. So we're always at odds with how that functions. And this is that slippery slope where it's like, I want it. How fast can I get it?
Right. It's like when I was managing my hedge fund, I tell the story in the 9 Money Rules millionaires use about white knuckling it. I felt like I had to take massive action.
Yep.
Right. And it wasn't inspired action. It was action because I felt like I had to create. But what happened was after losing money 6, 7, 8 days in a row, and I felt like I had to make money that the next day, I was conscious of, okay, wait a second, let go. You're a good money manager. You've been doing this for years. You made money in 2008. You made money in 2009. Stop this of like white knuckling and moving stuff around all the time. You have good stock ideas. Just let it go. And then, of course, the next day I made money and started on a positive streak. So letting go is a really important concept, and it's a really hard concept to get your mind around because most of us have taken massive action.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We've taken the action necessary to create. And the hardest thing is not continuing to take the massive action. Take inspired action if you feel it, but letting go and saying, okay, I've done the work. I know it's on its way, and believing, as you said, Dominique, it's believing that it's on its way. Because, rule number 1 in the 9 Money Rules is when you believe. If you're doubting yourself, #doubt the doubt, when you're doubting yourself, then it's not coming. if you believe, and belief is just a thought you keep on thinking. There's no truths, I say. There's just empowering beliefs and limiting beliefs, right? So a belief is just a thought you keep on thinking, right? So what are you thinking? And is the belief, and so you have to be cognizant of your beliefs and say, okay, what, and one really powerful tell is your action, right? So when I'm white knuckling it, I'm not believing that the work I've already done has created prosperity. I'm believing that the action today I have to take is going to offset, but it's not true.
Right.
So you've taken action, and so look at what actions you're taking today, and are they coming from a place of abundance or coming from a place of lack and scarcity? And usually the actions are a really good tell. You know, are you you know, operating from there's never going to be enough, there's not enough, and I have to cut back and cut back and cut back? Or are you operating from a belief that, you know, there's $450 trillion on this earth and there's plenty to spare and share, and my amount is available for me?
Also, you know, everything we're talking about, and we haven't used these words yet, but everything we're talking about is being present. So Olivia Newton-John died this week. She'd been fighting cancer the vast majority of her life. And I saw a little video clip of her, and somebody asked her about, you know, how do you manage living with cancer? And she said, I manage living in the moment. I don't think about cancer. I don't think about the past. I'm right here, right now. I accept that the future's coming, but if I can stay right here, that's what I manage. And I think that that is such a profoundly simple and important concept for everybody, that I walk my dog in the morning, and I try to get out for an hour in the morning. So I get up early and I get up and out. And I love that time. It's quiet. It's, you know, at this time of year, it's beautiful, warm, sunny. The light's gorgeous. And sometimes I'm on my phone working while I'm walking. I'll admit it. Sometimes I'm taking calls, sometimes stuff's going on. But what I usually try to do in that time frame is I literally try to clear my mind and like feel the air, smell the smells, you know, look at the views, understand where I am, and get in touch with my surroundings in the present, because I'm so grateful that I am doing that. And sometimes that's like my most grateful time of the day, because I'm present to that time of the day as opposed to taking calls, doing work. And I think that you know, the more we do that, the more we plug in, the more we are living that life that we really want to live. Sitting here talking, having a conversation, go back and forth with somebody who's on the same wavelength. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, no, I am grateful too. And I forget the name of the book I read, but it talked about being present. And I actually found that one of my clients who I was working on his money mindset was worried a lot because he was not present. He was focused on the future and looking at how much money he had, and was it enough for the next year, 2 years, or did he have enough money saved for his kids' college? And everything was into the future, thinking about the future. So this book talks about being present. So this is something to try. I will admit I have a hard time with it, but you're in the bathroom, focus on the peeing. Don't be reading a book, but focus on the peeing. Or you're eating lunch or breakfast,
Yeah.
focus on the taste. Don't be having, you know, a book or talking to someone, but be present in what you're doing in that moment. And it's, you know, there's certain things. I go for a jog every morning, you know, I'm out early too, and I am present. You know, I'm not doing 12 other things, I'm just running. So it's really important to be in the moment, because actually the point of the book was you're more positive. You have a more positive mindset. They actually did studies on the brain synapses. And if you're spending more time in the present moment, focused on the present, then you're happier.
Well, I think that, you know, when we actually tune in to what it is that we want to feel, instead of just accepting the way we feel, and we practice more and more what that is, then we get results, and without trying for results necessarily, but being, you know, really, really aware of the feeling of that, what those results would feel like. So it's there's a lot of counterintuitive aspects to everything we're talking about. It's very slippery because if you're not accustomed to doing this kind of work, it's and it is work to get the practice. But then the idea is that you are starting to integrate, and this is becoming who you are. And the person you are becoming is the person you want to become.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'd highly recommend putting into practice some being present practices and visualization and affirmations. All this will change your vibration, shift those low frequency vibrations to higher frequency vibrations.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joel. It was great talking to you today.
Great talking with you, Dominique. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you as well.